Alex, nothing witty to say off the top? Just gonna let it fly, eh?
Nah, man, it's late. I got nothing for
Okay.
you.
All right. Well, hello and welcome to Deep Cuts, the movie game show where I give Alex. I haven't done this and my brain is frozen. I'm so sorry to everyone.
This is a bad start. Take it again.
Hello and welcome to Deep Cuts, the movie trivia podcast where I have 3 contestants and I give them 3 movies. And I ask them to come up with the most random, obscure, or minor characters that they can think of from those films. The deeper the cut, the more points they get. I'm your host, Jeff Penn, and with me as always, Alex Young. That was rough. I know, Alex. I'm sorry. I've had to remember something else for a new job that I'm starting, and my memory is just combining those 2 things together.
You all out of RAM. It's like you had the other thing and that took all of it. Just take one of the good intros from a previous one and cut it in.
Yeah, I'm buffering right now, so we're okay. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you, other than your brain is broken?
I'm fine, man. I'm really happy to be here tonight with the 3 guests we've got, because I think we've got a really good show lined up.
That's awesome. I watched Poltergeist 2, How Carol Got Her Geist Back, the other day, which I assume is the full title. And it reminded me of something that I really missed from movies from the 80s and 90s, which is wind. But I'll specify that. Not just Twister wind, where you expect wind, but supernatural wind. Like you get in the first Poltergeist, you get in Ghostbusters, Phenomena, where something is happening and there's just simply wind from nowhere. And it's spooky and it's very effective.
Doors slam, shutters rattle.
Exactly. Hair's getting blown back. Carol Ann, all that stuff, which I feel like has been pushed by the wayside just with, advances in technology and CGI and green screen. We don't need to rely on just some poor PA with a fan that's got to aim it. But it's really cool. I like it a lot, and it's one of those nostalgic things that I kind of miss. And Alien Romulus, somewhat adjacently to that, does the thing where there's the space station's running out of time, air's leaking, whatever. So there's always a breeze, and it just functions like a ticking clock in that movie. And I found it so effective. But it also reminded me, in addition to Poltergeist 2, of 80s supernatural wind, ghost wind, if you will. And I feel like that's something that should come back.
Yeah, I wonder, because as you mentioned wind, I started thinking about the old radio dramas, where they would do the sound effects with the woo, with the old
make the sound of thunder by shaking some steel.
Yeah, and it's it's a lost art, which I guess people nowadays are just they just don't care for it anymore. If it's not on TikTok, does it even exist, Alex, at this point?
I wouldn't know. Man, enough to have TikTok.
No, I have never downloaded TikTok. Well, thank you for bringing that to my attention, Alex.
You're welcome, Jeffrey.
I will think about that the next time I'm watching a movie and be there should be some wind here, but we'll see.
That's all I ask.
Our first guest tonight is currently muted, so I'm going to ask him to, he can pop out of mute right now. He is a 7-time champion at this point. I think, has he not? I think there's been one game where he didn't win. Maybe you're 6 and a second place. Right. It's Craig Smeaton. It sounds right. Yes.
7 sounded
right.
high.
He's 6-1 with no losses. It did. Yeah. I think you've been on 7 shows. You've got 6 wins and I think a second place. I'm not sure who beat you.
It was me. I've never forgotten. It was me. It was the second game that I've ever won of the 17 we've done.
Mm-hmm. Well, Craig, thanks for being here tonight. Do you have any thoughts or concerns about wind in movies?
I think it's very perceptive.
Effectiveness?
I like it. And I think maybe did the movie The Happening, did that ruin it for everybody? They went, wind is out. The M. Night Shyamalan. That wasn't the wind, the big, that was the thing, wasn't it?
Well, essentially it was the planet was the villain. Spoilers.
Yeah, it was everything. Wind you would see that it was coming because of the wind.
Much like the cold in The Day After Tomorrow coming down.
Yeah, because I think the plants could kill you. The plants were releasing poison. Yeah. Okay. The pollen or something, and the wind was just kind of a vessel that you'd be oh no, it's coming.
Well, thank goodness we have a scientist on here to answer our wind question.
Oh my gosh, Craig. So last week I would say we had our most sports centric guest. This week, I don't want to make him too self-conscious, but he's definitely the smartest guest we've ever had.
You guys are screwed. If you think I'm the smartest, I'm going to do so badly on this show. Listen, I'm the most educated.
I was going to say, okay, yes,
smartest.
Book smart, smart.
I
maybe
went
not
to
movie
York,
smart, but he is definitely.
Well, hey, I went to York too. I got a master's there, but then I got a whole bunch of other stuff.
He got a whole bunch of others. Yes, I was going to try to list all the schools.
He got all the
I
DLC
ran out of paper to write them on.
I think a lot of people, if they go to school once, they're like, okay, I learned enough, and I was like, I don't quite get it. And I just kept going back to school, and I got 3 degrees and did a postdoc, and became a scientist. But I spent a lot of time in school, but it is not going to show. This is going to be a very humbling experience for me. So I look forward to being taken down a notch by Craig and Alex as well.
Well, his name's Dan Riskin. We didn't get a chance to really say his name, but he's written books and papers on many topics. He's appeared on Dr. Oz. We won't hold that against you.
Thank you.
I'm sure there was a lot of science that Dr. Oz was interested in hearing about.
Yeah, well, it was interesting. It was a neat back and forth because he starts asking me these questions, these rhetorical, like, how do these worms get there? And I'm like, you're the doctor. Like, shouldn't you know that? But he gave me a look when I said that, so didn't go over very well.
You've also appeared on the Tonight Show, and this is all according to Wikipedia. So
that's true. Jay Leno,
the Jay Leno Tonight Show, and you've appeared on the Late Show with Craig Ferguson.
Late Show with Craig Ferguson. That's my claim to fame. That was like, it was amazing. That show is so. I mean, it's gone now. I mean, there's a new show, whatever. But Craig Ferguson is so smart, so quick, and other shows I've been on of that magnitude, like the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, like it's really produced. Like, you know what questions you're going to be asked. You can rehearse your answers. You know exactly what the flow is going to be. You know which way you're going to lean in your seat when you're getting started. And with Craig Ferguson, like I rehearsed all these stories and I had them ready, and I told the producer, and I was like, "Can we do this?" And the producer was like, "Yeah," but I mean, I was like, "What is he going to ask first?" And she's like, I have no idea. And he just went totally off script. And it was a really fun challenge to try to keep up with him and still keep bringing it back to the science, right? It was like, and that's my plan for tonight, by the way, is just like, you guys are going to be like, oh, the wind, that's in a movie. And I'll be like, actually, wind is a really interesting phenomenon. If you think about pressure as a series of, anyway, I don't know where I'm going to go with that, but that's my defense.
What I love about that is it's like almost a 6 degrees of this show, because I think this is the first time we've known someone who's appeared. Okay, so you're on our show. Craig Ferguson has actually been an answer on our show for How to Train Your Dragon. He was a voice actor.
He sure was, yes.
So yeah, it's great that we now actually have someone who knows someone who was a big enough actor that they were an answer for our show.
Nice. That basically makes me the star of a dragon movie. So I'm in Lord of the Rings is how I interpret that.
Yes, that tracks. That totally makes sense to me.
Yeah. I know you have a newsletter coming out, I believe on the 8th or no, the 11th.
Yeah, let's just say it's out now because people can sign up now. It comes out on Tuesdays. It's a new thing I'm doing. It's called thebatsignal.com. Go to followthebatsignal.com, and that's how you'll get to it. You got to put the follow on there. So followthebatsignal.com. That'll get you a sign up, and then you can it's free, but I send you 5 really interesting science stories every week. Usually there's a bat related something in there, but it's space, it's psychology, it's sex, it's all this different science stuff. And I just started this newsletter. It's officially launching now. But already just in the getting it ready phase, it's really started to take off. And I've got quite a few people that are banging down the door and signing up. So I'm pretty excited about it. And if anybody wants to sign up, just go to followthebatsignal.com.
I just signed up tonight because I was like, I should probably do that because he's coming on my show. So
good content.
It sounds awesome.
Here's the other thing.
I was going to ask you a quick question because I did read one other thing in Wikipedia, and I think it kind of attributed this to you getting onto Discovery Channel. Was you had written a paper about running vampire bats?
Yeah, no, that is very real. So I was a PhD student, and I was interested in how bats crawl on the ground because as an evolutionary lineage, they're very bad at it. Most bats, you put them on the ground, they just flap their wings and get back in the air. They don't like crawling at all. But you've got a couple of species of bats that are really good at moving on the ground. And actually, vampire bats are the best walkers, and they walk really creepy on their wrists, and it looks like those giant rabbit creatures from the Dark Crystal. I don't know if you remember those things.
Yeah.
They really move like that. And so we put them on a treadmill to see how they walk so we could compare that to the locomotion of other things. And I traveled down to Trinidad with this hand-built it was basically a bread box made out of plexiglass with a moving floor that attached to a power drill. And you squeeze the power drill and the floor moves, and then the vampire bat starts walking. And it walked at all kinds of speeds, and then I sped it up, and then it started running. And that was a total surprise. So I discovered that vampire bats can run for my PhD, and that's how I started getting like tons of press for my work. And then that's how I kind of got my foot in the door for TV. And here I am talking to you.
I know that.
That's the coolest shit I've ever heard in my life.
It was a pretty lucky day.
And that's how Peloton started, I hear.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same. There's a little guy like on a TV screen at the front saying, "Come on, you can do it, vampire bat. We're gonna give you a big bucket of blood. Come on."
There's something about the fact that they can run makes me more scared of them.
Yeah.
Like it's not bad enough that they're flying around the air and landing in my hair potentially, but now that
they're not going to land in your hair. Let's not exaggerate. They don't land in your hair. They just sneak up on you while you're sleeping and bite your face and drink your blood. That's what.
Craig's hair, though. Craig's hair, they might land in.
Yeah, maybe that. He's got such good hair. How could any bat resist?
Well, Dan, thanks for coming out tonight to be on the show.
Pleasure.
This is episode 18 of Deep Cuts the Game, so we're moving right along. We've got 3 great movies for you guys to play along with us tonight. But first, we need to choose who's going first, second, or third. And Dan, I don't know if you understand. So we do a snake kind of way. So we go 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, back and forth for the 6 rounds. So everyone gets kind of an equal chance to guess. The way we decide who's going first, second, or third is I think of a movie beforehand that has nothing to do with the 3 movies that we're playing with tonight. And you guys try to guess what those movies are. I don't give you any hints. I don't give you any idea of what they can be. It's just up to you to try to guess a movie.
We're just supposed to guess a movie out of the millions of movies that have been made. And if it's the one that you're thinking of, we get to go first?
You get to choose where you would like to go, whether that's first, second, or third. And honestly, no one's ever gotten it because why would you? It's impossible. So I'm going to let Craig go first just so you can see how this works. Craig, what movie am I thinking of?
Beetlejuice, the OG, 89 or 88 or whatever it is.
All right. Beetlejuice, solid guess with Beetlejuice coming out soon. Alex, what movie am I thinking of?
Are you thinking of the original Nosferatu?
Oh, because he's
of Batman. That's exactly it. Yes.
No. Ooh, I like that though.
That's a good. Way to tie it together. I didn't even think of doing that.
That's
Dan,
a clue for me. Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams. No one got it. Funny enough. The movie is, I think it's from like 1985.
Field of Dreams?
The Val Kilmer movie, Top Secret.
Oh, you know what? That's a fun little movie.
And you know what? I thought of it because a mutual friend of ours, Mike Benani, had said that you would be a good guest. And then he says he plays along with the game. And he's like, I always want you to do Top Secret. And last week he also suggested the movie Gotcha with Anthony
Same
Edwards.
year, I think.
And so last week I used Gotcha. So this week is Top Secret with Val Kilmer.
Deep
and
cut cast.
I can't think of anyone
Do you
else
watch Downton Abbey? Mr. Carson is
I have not watched Downton Abbey.
Like Deja Vu.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Yeah,
Craig, it's
come
not
on, Craig.
In the game.
Deja Vu.
So who is the closest here? None of you picked like a
lot of people
movie.
call it the Field of Dreams of comedy movies, though, don't they?
Beetlejuice is the most.
There were a lot of fields in Top Secret,
so I'm gonna go
the cow. So there's that.
Yeah, and there was that cow thing, the calf that fed on the.
That's the part I was thinking of too, and also the ballet. There's a ballet part where all the male ballet dancers, the women are anyway. Don't watch it, kids. It's probably does not age very well.
A lot of comedy does not age well.
No,
unlike Field of Dreams, which ages quite well.
All right, Dan, you've sold me on it. Where would you like to go, first, second, or third?
Put me in the middle. I want to be the meat in the sandwich.
Yeah,
let
that's a good choice. Bread. Craig, you picked the closest comedy, I would say. So you get to choose first or third. Yeah, he always does, which is great because Alex loves going third.
Perfect.
So, okay, great.
Everybody's happy.
Craig's first, Dan at second, Alex at third. Now you get to hear the 3 movies. All right. From 2000, Memento. From 2010, because I couldn't use Interstellar again, and I wanted to do a science-based movie, I chose Inception. And then because those 2 films don't have actually super, super deep casts, I wanted to give you guys something with a lot of people in it. So I chose the 2019 Knives Out, which is not on Netflix anymore.
Interesting.
I wanted to watch it. I thought it was a Netflix kind of.
The second one is. I wonder if the first one maybe wasn't.
Because I wanted to watch it again just to make sure that I knew who everyone was as I was watching, and it wasn't there. So forgive me if my points are a little off for this one because I haven't seen it in a little bit. So if you guys want to take a few moments, jot down some names, feel free to write down anything you can think of that might help you. And then also don't feel bad, Dan, if you want to add names as you're playing. Someone might say a character's name or a character, and it might jog your memory a little bit as Alex deals with his cat.
She always wants to be included. She insists on her 15 minutes.
Well, there's not much fame to be had here, Alex.
But Jeff, I want to live forever.
Learn how to fly.
And don't worry,
we'll cut this all out. I haven't seen these in so long.
I'm not going to do well at all.
Oh, he says that
too, Craig, with 87
There's going to be none of that today.
Yeah, he's
2 Nolans. Not fair.
Just another little thing. So there are 2 actors or actresses that appear in more than one film. One of them I think is very gettable. The other one, not in a million years. So I would not focus too heavily on trying to draw any connections of the actors in these 3 films.
Great. Now, because Knives Out is an ensemble, are some people worth more than others?
I would say kind of about the top 6 or 7 people in the film. Some of them are worth more. Some of them are worth less just because of who they are.
Fair enough.
If that makes sense, Alex. It's such a sliding scale how I do this, and it changes week to week. This is essentially, to draw it back to Craig Ferguson, who was on the Drew Carey show and then hosted Whose Line Is It Anyway? The points are made up, and they really don't matter. So
topical reference, Jeff. I love it.
What? Aren't the kids all watching Whose Line Is It Anyway with Colin Mockery and Ryan Stiles?
I mean, when that was on, I loved it. My mom and I watched it like every single week, and then I also watched it in syndication.
It looks like Craig is ready to make his first selection in Deep Cuts.
Okay, I'm going to go Knives Out. Jaden the kid from It. Jaden Ledbetter or something.
Jaden Martell. It's Jaden Martell. Yep. Jaden Martell is a solid 8 points, gets you on the board. So Dan, just to let you know, the points are usually between 1 and 20.
So the most obscure person I can think of from any of these movies is what I'm trying to do?
Any one of these movies, yes.
Okay, the guy who wants to have a stake in the Matrix is definitely in Memento.
Yes. He's
name like is one of the leads. That is as deep as I get. But
okay. Joe.
That's the only name I had written.
Joey Pants or Joey Pantoliano, I believe is how it's pronounced. He's worth 4 points.
Yeah.
What else? Sopranos. He was in for a while.
Risky Business.
Guido.
Risky Business, and isn't he always like the police captain in all the 3 Bad Boys movies?
4 Bad Boys movies. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So yes, solid cut. Hey, listen, we told James Duthie last week, just put points on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put up any X's. If you have to say the star or the second build character, that is fine, because there's nothing worse than getting a 0.
Yeah. You
Alex,
can't get negative points? Well, do you get negative points if you guess somebody that's not in it?
No, no negative points.
Okay.
It happens.
But the zeros, they'll kill you.
Yeah, they don't add up.
They do
not. Alex, what is your first deep cut?
So all that said, I'm going to do my biggest swing because I don't actually know if he's in it. So I might put up an X out of the gate.
Okay.
In Inception, the father, who's like in the dream vault or whatever.
He's somebody, he's just died. That's kind of what it's all about, yeah.
Is he the guy who is now dead? And he was in Argo, and he was in Romeo and Juliet. He's the priest that gives them the poison, and he's in The Lost World Jurassic Park, and he's got a really... Pete Postlewaite. Is it Pete Postlewaite?
Yes, it is Pete. You was like, wow, I was like, you were picking every movie that I have not seen, and I wasn't sure.
You haven't seen Romeo and Juliet? The Baz Luhrmann movie?
No, right. But I know him from The Name of the Father with
yes.
Daniel Day-Lewis. He is the father.
And he is the T-Rex tracker in The Lost World.
Pete Postlewaite, 12 points, Alex, because I don't think he has any lines. He just dies.
Ooh, worth 12?
I mean, he's got a lot of screen time just laying there in the bed.
All right. I'll take it.
Alex, you have your second deep cut now.
Also from Inception, Ken Watanabe.
Yes. 6 points for Mr. Ken.
Who's Ken Watanabe? Who's that?
In Inception, he is the guy that hires the star of the movie to incept a idea into someone else's brain. He's the Asian actor. What else would he be known for?
That's a great question. I'm blanking. He's in a million things, and yet I can name you none of them. Craig, jump in.
Is he in like The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise or something like that?
Yes, he is. Well done.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to be like racist.
No, you're exactly
but
right.
I think he's in that. Very good actor. So 6 points for Ken Watanabe, who he gets shot pretty much as soon as they incept. He gets shot right away and spends most of the movie dying.
He's in Batman Begins.
Dan, we're back to you with your second deep cut.
This is a deep cut, but I don't even know if it's allowed because it's a side cut. But my understanding from Inception is that the really weird sort of like wow sound effects are the song by Edith Piaf slowed down way down and played at a really low speed so that they sound like monster sounds, but it's actually the song that they listen to in the movie, and it's played at a different speed. And so she is in the movie singing.
Oh, okay. I'm definitely going to have to do...
No, he's absolutely right.
Okay.
That's 100% true. Yes.
I didn't write that down. So the rule is...
The thing is that when you're incepting, time is going at a certain speed, but out in the real world,
when you hear the
going
song...
slow.
It's the French song, right?
Yeah, Je vis, whatever Edith Piaf sings. But anyways, she is singing when those sound effects are happening. Thus, she is in the movie. Thus, she's basically a narrator. Thus, that's my deep cut.
I mean, he's opening the door to soundtrack stuff now, Alex.
Yeah, you can say no. That's...
Listen, Dan. I'll
tell you what, Jeff.
He's using science to make a really good point.
So why don't we do this? Everything he sings 100% right.
Yes.
But it is opening the door for soundtracks. So instead, why don't we give him a second guess?
All right.
Okay.
But I
think that's
right,
fair.
And it's really good.
Yes. And the fact that he knows that, but he doesn't know anyone else in the movie is mind-boggling.
Yeah, because that's more interesting to me. That's and also there's wind in that movie. No, I don't know actually. Yeah. Okay, I believe that Leonardo DiCaprio is in that movie.
He is. Leonardo DiCaprio is the star of that movie, and he's worth
pivot from
you were about to get 20 points and now you're getting 1. So 1 point for Leonardo DiCaprio.
But you let me have 2 guesses. I think I'm just feeling you out to see if I can get away with shit like that.
How you can push the boundaries.
Okay.
Craig, we lost you there.
I think I said a few things. I said Batman Begins, which I don't know if you heard that, which is Ken Watanabe he trained Batman, didn't he?
Yes. He is the guy that they think is Ra's al Ghul. Yeah, he's actual Ra's al Ghul, right? Yes. Where you think it's Liam Neeson.
Spoilers, guys, come on.
So yes, as long as you're okay, I'm back now. But there was a thing I think was my issue.
Yes, everything seems fine now. So what is your
I'm going to go
second deep
Lakeith
cut,
Stanfield for Knives Out.
Yep. He's one of the police. Yeah. One of the police officers, right, in Knives Out, if I'm not mistaken, for 10 points. What else is he from? Yeah. Is he in Atlanta?
And Get Out.
Is he like?
He's in Sorry to Bother You.
He's great in Get Out.
Really good in that.
Okay. All right, so 10 points for Lakeith. So now we're at your third cut, Craig.
Okay, I'm going to go Michael Caine for Inception.
Yes, as Leonardo DiCaprio's father, Michael Caine.
I couldn't remember
7
if
points.
he was a cameo or...
He is a school teacher who teaches Leonardo DiCaprio how to incept and also introduces him to other inceptors, so to speak. So it's a good cut. Dan, we're very quickly back to you. Sorry to put you on the spot. It goes quick when you're in the sandwich spot.
It does, which is what's enjoyable about the sandwich, really. I think that Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in the movie Inception.
And guess what? He's also in Knives Out. He's a voice on the phone.
Tiny cameo. Great work.
I think he's a detective on the phone, like when they call the police station.
Holy! And also, I wasn't done talking. I was just about to finish my sentence. If you'd let me. Also, with the guy on the phone in Knives Out. Am I right?
You are right. Incredible.
Incredible work, Dan. Incredible.
So he is 2 points for Inception, as he is essentially the second star, but he is 14 points for Knives Out.
Well, I didn't call that though, so don't give that to me.
No, you get the points.
So, no, you get the points. That happens. Like I said,
did it work?
One of them I thought was very gettable, and I figured someone might just have to go to Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Somebody would have to.
Out of people. Somebody did.
And that would have been my next one.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, sorry, Craig. You snooze, you lose, buddy.
16-point deep cut for Dan.
Oh, man,
Alex, let's do your third deep cut, and then I'll give you guys a point recap as we'll be at the halfway point of the game.
The daughter in Knives Out of people. Is it the girl from 13 Reasons Why?
It is. Her name's Catherine Langford.
Thank God. Because I was confusing. I knew her name was Catherine, and I'm like, is it Catherine Newton from Freaky?
No, you're right. Catherine Langford for 8 points, same as Jaden Martell, as they play kind of like nieces and nephews of the family. So that's a solid cut, Alex. So that plus Ken Watanabe, 14, gives you 26 points.
Wow.
At the halfway point.
Way to go.
Craig, you're at 25 points.
Wow.
So we got a 1 point battle between Alex and Craig. And Dan, you had 5 points going into your third deep cut when you put up a 16. So that puts you at 21. So you're only 4 points out of second, 5 points out of first. So you're
you know what? Can I just like sell now?
You can leave. Yeah. You could leave right now. So it's not a bad, and like we've said, like I think our lowest score ever was about 15. So you've beaten that.
Well, it was me and Joseph Gordon.
Yes, you did it together.
Yeah.
Alex, so we're working our way back up the chain here. What is your fourth deep cut?
I'm sure he's not worth a ton, but also from Knives Out is Don Johnson.
Don Johnson,
Miami Vice.
I don't know if he's a son or if he's a son-in-law at this point. Yes. Yeah. So Don Johnson.
I like him in that movie.
So good.
He's good at it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don Johnson for 5 points, Alex.
I'll take it.
And so you can kind of gauge if Don Johnson's worth 5. There's a lot of people kind of on his level in that movie where they sit. Dan Riskin. What's your
you know what? Is he Christopher Plummer? Is that who he is? The old guy in Knives Out?
Christopher Plummer is the guy who dies.
Yeah.
Is it accidentally?
Well,
or
that's
he's
the whole
been
movie.
murdered.
Don't spoil it.
Oh my God! It's the
whole thing.
And then I realized I was like, was it? Yeah, that's the whole mystery. So Chris Plummer, he's worth a little bit more than Don Johnson. He is 6 points.
What?
Sweet. Why is he worth more?
Yeah, he's in it so much.
He dies right at the beginning.
Yeah, but the whole movie is flashbacks. The entire movie is flashbacks.
I don't know, man.
He should be second build in that movie.
No way, you're crazy. If you
a lot of people don't remember him.
It's
they
the
see
male
other
lead, female lead, and him. For sure.
There's a male lead, female lead, another male lead that is a giant anyway, and then a bunch of people that are all kind of lumped together, I would say.
Yeah, right.
Craig, you are on your fourth and fifth deep cut. Remember, we got 6 rounds, so you're at the halfway point here.
I'll go Knives Out. Toni Collette.
Hey, guess what, Alex? She's worth 5 points. She's on the same level as Don Johnson.
That's fine.
Okay, Toni Collette for 5 points. I think is she the one? She's a daughter-in-law because I think she's Catherine Langford's mom, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and I feel like her husband had passed away in the story.
Yeah, so she's kind of getting an allowance from Christopher Plummer. It's keeping this game very close, Craig.
I'm pretty sure Cillian Murphy's in Inception.
Damn it, Craig.
He is.
Okay.
He's worth 6 points. Like he's the one
being
incepted.
I don't remember the film, so so there you go. Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought maybe because he had a small part, but
okay. I mean, he's in it quite a bit because he essentially becomes part of the team without knowing that he's been incepted. So solid cut, Cillian Murphy.
I feel like I've been incepted being on this episode.
Someone told you this was a good idea. You're like, yeah, I'll do it. And then, Dan, we're back to you. This is your 5th deep cut. You got this and one more.
Her name's on the tip of my tongue, and she's a big famous actor, and I'm embarrassed about it. But she's the woman from A Fish Called Wanda. What's her name?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes, she is in Knives Out.
Oscar winner.
That's right. So once again, she's worth 5 points because she is right in that same kind of.
Yeah, I'll take
our
it. 5
Don
points.
Johnson.
Solid. Yeah.
I'm almost done the bear, Alex. I know you finished the bear.
Yep.
And I'm just on the pregnancy episode where the sister's gone
Very
into
good.
labor, and it's so much Jamie Lee Curtis, and she's just the worst person. Like, she's a great actress in this show,
phenomenal performances in that
but
show.
she's so annoying and so hateable. But yeah, she's great. So 5 points for Jamie Lee Curtis for Dan Riskin.
Yeah.
Alex, you've got your 5th and then your final deep cut, and it's a
I have
very
to give
close
you
game.
2?
That's how the game works. You've
I
played
know,
this
but I
18 times now.
I thought this was my last one. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
you've got 2.
I don't even have that. Okay, Tom Hardy in Inception. 3 points.
So you're going even further up. So Tom Hardy for 4 points.
Okay. And then I'm going to take a swing. Does Rian Johnson have a cameo of any kind?
Oh, no, he doesn't.
He doesn't?
He does not have a cameo. The director of Knives Out, Rian Johnson, does not appear in this film, Alex.
Honestly, all that cost me was 2 points.
Don't say what you were going to say, but
cost me 2 points, so it's fine.
Fair enough. Dan Riskin, it's your final deep cut guess.
Can I get 2 things? Is that the deal?
No, this is your last one, because you remember you're the sandwich. So Alex was 5, 6. Now you're 6. So this is it. This is it for you.
Oh, I see. Okay. I'm gonna go with Captain America in Knives Out, please.
Yes, he is. And so Alex, so like there's the male lead, the female lead, and then this guy. So that's why there's a little bit of a gap.
Sure.
He is worth 3 points for Chris Evans.
That's fair. Oh, Chris
Evans.
Hey, is that his name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 6 rounds, you put points up in every round. And a lot of people don't do that.
I'm really proud of that.
Yeah.
Although you guys are pretty forgiving when I say the woman from Fish Called Wanda. You are helping me a little.
No, that's totally within like.
Oh, it's okay.
Totally.
Great.
That's how the game has always been played, because otherwise, other than Craig, most of us are.
Nobody knows the names.
Yeah, like when he knows the kids' names of, what was it, like Frank Kasdan's kids, like all the kids who were in like the Big Chill. And Craig's like, oh yeah, like Emil Kasdan and the mom, and I'm like, how does he know the kids' names? Like, but Craig, you are on your final cut. I haven't looked up the points here to see what the change is, but it's close. It's very close.
I'm not going to do it, but I think there's a in Oliver Rian Johnson Knives Out director's film, he's got a buddy who's been in everything because he was in the last Knives Out. But I don't know. I don't think I'm not going to take that big swing. So I'm going to go with just Knives Out. And I'm going to say, which is bigger? Did we say Michael Shannon yet?
We didn't, but he's right in there with the Don Johnson, Toni Collette,
solid
lump of people. So Michael Shannon.
I was trying to think of the other cop.
Who's Michael Shannon?
Michael Shannon was Zod in the Superman movie, Man of Steel. But he's also, I mean, it's sad, but if you want a deep cut for Michael Shannon, it's Groundhog Day is the guy that gets tickets to WrestleMania from Bill Murray.
Nobody's going to remember him from that. He's also in The Shape of Water. He's like the villain. He's the antagonist in
Shape of
Water.
Oh, okay.
Yes, very good actor. Okay, so we're not going to tally up the points yet because, like I said, it's going to be super close. Let's see, anything big you guys missed? No one said Ana de Armas from Knives Out because obviously she's...
How much was she?
She's 2 points.
That's what I thought. So that's what
like Daniel Craig, and then it was like Chris Evans and Ana de Armas. You got all the brothers and the sisters from that. You even got Lakeith Stanfield and Christopher Plummer. You got the Catherine Langford, Jade Martell. Ricky Lindholm, Alex, is Michael Shannon's wife.
Oh, I totally forgot. It's been so long.
Then I would say the big one. There's two decent ones in Knives Out, which would be Frank Oz is the lawyer.
He's the lawyer.
Yes, that's right. He's the guy who is the estate.
And then
director.
The old timey actor Emmett Walsh makes an appearance in Knives Out, and I can't remember what his role is, and that's why I wanted to watch it again. But he would have been a very big deep cut. Inception, you guys did very well on Inception. You missed. I'm going to mess up his name, but he's the guy that provides the compound that helps them be incepted, the scientist, the chemist. Dilip Rayo, he's from Avatar and Avatar, The Way of Water, whatever. He's in all those films. Tom Berenger would have been a solid deep cut. And Leonardo DiCaprio's wife in the film, the French actress, Marion Cotillard, would have been another as Maud. Lucas Haas, the little kid from Witness, is also in Inception.
Who's in Brick with Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, yes.
Ryan Johnson's first movie.
And then one of the Ken Watanabe's security guards is an actor by the name of Jaru Masamune, who played Shredder in the 2014 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Wow, incredible.
Now, you guys really kind of stayed away from Memento, which I know was not a super deep, like, you got Joey.
It's been so long, but I just remember a few people in it.
I was going to say, yes, Callum Keith Rene.
Carrie-Anne Moss, right?
Sorry, what's up?
Oh,
Callum Keith Rene is
Moss.
Carrie Moss, Callum Keith Rene.
Carrie Moss, yes.
Guy Pearce's wife, he's always visioning, like she's been murdered and he's trying to figure out who murdered, is actually the actress Georgia Fox from the old CSI series.
Oh yeah.
So like a very small part for her. And then the only other character, Thomas Lennon's in it, Alex, as his doctor.
Really?
The comedian, comedic actor Thomas Lennon. And then Stephen Tobolowsky.
Groundhog Day.
Because you know there's that side story about he's always talking about this guy Sammy Jenkins.
Yeah.
He's like, Sammy Jenkins would take notes. He's Sammy Jenkins. So I couldn't watch that one because it's not on anything, and I didn't want to have to crack up my DVD that is almost like
you have to solve a puzzle to get
to watch the movie.
It's so frustrating because it's a really hard puzzle.
Really?
Yeah. It's this weird
cool,
menu screen where you got to click on certain things to activate the movie.
So wait, I have a quick story about that because we were going to watch Memento in film school, and of course, long before streaming or anything, I'm like, I own that version of the DVD. I'll bring it in and we can screen it. And we almost didn't have time because it took 40 minutes for us to figure out how to get it to play in front of and I look like an idiot, and I'm like, no, you guys, you don't understand. There's like some sort of riddle and a puzzle, and you got to solve a thing, and they're like, you just don't know how DVDs work. I'm like, no,
you're like, fine, here,
it's the whole thing. We did eventually get it to work.
Wow.
The end.
Okay, so I honestly don't know who won. It could be any one of you three. So
probably not me, but it could be. It could be. Let's find out. Let's live in this moment.
Okay, so
did get 16 points. Thanks for
Craig had 25 at the half and put up 16 in the second half. So that's maybe like a career low. Not to this was a tough one, Craig. I know it was a tough one. So 41 points for Craig. Alex, 26 in the lead at the halfway point. You put up 9 in the second half with that big X. So that puts you at 35. So no better than second place is what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm. Seems
Dan was all the way back in third place with 21 points. He put up 11, 14 in the second half, brings him up to 35. So Craig, of course, as always, has won the game. But it was super tight. Dan, you tied Alex with 35 points.
I am thrilled with that result, Alex. No offense, but I'm really happy. This is lovely.
I am furious.
It was a tough one, and that's why I knew Memento would be really tough. I thought Inception might be a little easier, and then I threw Knives Out because I was like, "Oh, that's pretty recent, and pretty much everyone's seen it."
Yeah, lots to choose from.
It was a tough one. Alex, can I tell you guys a quick story before we get into like what's everyone up to kind of thing? So I'm driving home today. And in my rearview mirror, I usually don't pay attention to who's driving behind me unless they're right on my bumper. And this guy, he's driving like a Kia Sportage or something like that. Nothing too fancy. But in my rearview mirror, I can see he's wearing sunglasses, which isn't unheard of. It was sunny. But they were like the silver, like not even like a cop silver glasses. I'm making motions with my hands that nobody can see except for the 3 people I'm talking to right now. But they looked like ski goggles that he was wearing that covered his entire face, and there was no like space in the middle. It was like that. He looked like the bad guy from the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie Cyborg that hunts him through the wasteland, and he wears those big goggle glasses. And I was like, what is this guy up to? Where is he
like
going?
An Apple Vision Pro?
Maybe. I don't. But I was.
Sounds like. I was super dangerous.
I was as afraid of him as I am of running vampire bats now.
Oh wow!
So I got over right away. I was like, "Go right ahead, my friend. Yeah. You've got someplace to go. I don't know if it's to ski a hill or murder a cyborg, but you've got business to take care of."
That's when you wish for the vampire bat.
Yes. Well, that was a very fun show. Craig, you got anything you'd like to promote or tell people about? Anything you want to tell people?
No, I'm just going to TIFF. Go down and support TIFF. By the time this will come out, TIFF will have ended probably. So
I think we're hoping to have this one up on the 15th. This is going to be our
final day.
I had a great time.
Go catch the audience.
The best ever.
Super soon.
Well, thanks, Craig. Dan, like we said, you've got your newsletter, The Bat Signal, coming out. People can sign up for that by going to
followthebatsignal.com. It's a newsletter. It's free. I'm not putting these things on the web anywhere. It's just quick summaries of 5 science stories every week that will make you giggle or blow your mind or whatever. They're super fun. They're super fun. And and if you don't like it, you can unsubscribe and you haven't lost a thing. Costs you no money. It's super easy. Follow the Bat
It'll
Signal.
be less annoying than all the old Navy emails I get every week.
Yes, so I guarantee it will be less annoying than your old Navy emails. And I will say, like, this was rad. I really had a good time. I thought I was just going to sit on the sidelines because there's this thing. Like, I used to work in the building with you guys, and you had a certain TSN huge personality on last week, and it reminded me of the dynamic that happens where, like, I like sports, I like hockey, but I'll like walk down the hallway next to one of those TSN rooms and there'll be a conversation about hockey. And I'll be like, oh, I could talk to these guys about hockey. I could say, I like hockey. And then they're like, well, did you know that in the third period that this shoelace came undone? Oh, everybody knows about the shoelace. Don't be stupid. And then they would just have these conversations that I could never get in on. So I kind of had it in my head that this would be like that. And you guys would just go off on a movie tangent and I would sit quietly and twiddle my thumbs and wait for the wind. But I felt very included. So thank you. I had a great time.
Well, thanks for coming on. One of the other things, for a second, I thought Dan had won because anyway, Craig, I'll come back to you in a second. Dan, thanks very much for coming on the show and just lending us your time and your expertise in bats and your solid knowledge of film.
And Edith Piaf, look up that thing I went on and on about because it's just, there's a YouTube video or whatever, but it's super cool the way it works because it's haunting. It gives you goosebumps when you see how they did it.
And I wonder if I just never noticed it because I know her the song from it's the thing that triggers them to come out of the inception. But yeah, I think by the time they get to the final level that I've kind of completely forgot about it. So thank you very much, Alex. Do you have anything you'd like to tell people about?
And then didn't Marion Cotillard end up playing Edith Piaf in the biopic? La Vie en Rose? I think so.
La Vie en Rose? I think that was first, wasn't it?
From my tie-in point of view.
La Vie en Rose earlier?
That's all I do. I tie it in. Yeah.
Wow.
Either way, you're right. She was La Vie en Rose.
Craig, before I let you go then, one of the things we do is the winner of the show gets to request or, suggest a future guest. It can be a big star. It can be a little star. We've never had it work. No one has ever requested someone and that we've been able to get them. One of the perks is if that person does come on the show, I would be willing to get a small tattoo of that guest's choice somewhere on my body. Thankfully or unthankfully, it's never worked out. Like I would love to get a tattoo for the right guest.
I think it'd be so funny if we get the right guy. It was just like, yeah, you're gonna get my face on your forehead. Sorry, buddy, that's the choice.
Okay, well, then no, you're not coming on my show then. But listen, if you've got something, I'll put it on my arm or my back of my leg or something like that. Sure, but no face tattoos, Alex.
Okay, fair enough.
Some mid-range. Listen, Brad Pitt wants to come on the show. You can tattoo my face. That's fine. Craig, what do you think?
There's only one answer, and that's my namesake and friend of Dan, Craig Ferguson.
Oh, yeah. You know what? And I know, Dan, you don't really use Twitter anymore. I think you're kind of like Instagram is kind of where we connect and stuff like that. But Craig Ferguson does follow you on Twitter, so I was really excited about that. And I was like, oh, Craig Ferguson follows Dan. That's great. Yeah, all right. I think that would be awesome. Well, obviously, that would be incredible if Craig Ferguson came on the show. So we'll try. We'll see what happens.
Make it happen, Jeff.
Alex, you have sent me my outro.
I have sent you your outro. That's right.
So, Dan, Alex writes my outro. I don't know what it says until I read it. Alex, is there any notes? Like sometimes you're like, oh, make sure you pause so I can make some joke.
Nope, just insert the winner's name. That's all.
Okay.
I could have written Craig. I usually do in advance.
Okay. Okay, well, I'd like to thank our contestants, Dan and Craig. Congratulations to this week's winner, Craig. And of course, thanks to my co-host and number one best friend, the coolest guy that I've ever had the pleasure of knowing, and a person I try to emulate in all my actions, Alex Young.
That's really nice.
On Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and anywhere you get your podcasts. I'm Jeff Penn. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.